Welcome to Wealth Explainers. Today, we're breaking down the 3 purchases that keep you poor and what's really happening behind the scenes. Picture a competitive track where athletes are lining up for a long-distance marathon. Most of the runners wear standard, lightweight gear, optimizing their bodies for the miles ahead. But one runner steps up to the starting line wearing a heavy, reinforced canvas backpack. Before the starting gun even fires, this runner walks over to a pile of large, jagged stones, picks up 3 heavy rocks, and loads them into the bag. The gun fires. This runner exerts massive physical effort, muscles straining, sweating profusely. But the sheer weight pulls them downward and backward, reducing their sprint to a sluggish crawl. They eventually collapse on the track, watching the other runners glide past with fluid, effortless strides. This marathon represents your financial timeline. The heavy backpack represents your fixed financial obligations. Earning a respectable income does not automatically equate to building wealth if the underlying structural mechanics of your spending constantly pull capital away from asset accumulation. You can be a highly capable earner, generating an impressive amount of raw power, but if your structural framework is loaded with friction, your forward momentum is canceled out by the downward pull of your liabilities. It appears confusing because society treats these heavy rocks as standard adult behavior. Because everyone else on the track appears to be wearing the same heavy backpack, it feels like the natural condition of the race. Here's the part most people miss. The first heavy rock is the cost of new car depreciation. A brand new automobile is essentially an asset that mathematically guarantees a loss in value the moment it changes ownership. The mechanics here are based entirely on market perception. Once a vehicle transitions from new to used, its premium evaporates instantly. If you purchase a new vehicle for $45,000 and it depreciates to $28,000 within 3 years, that $17,000 difference is vaporized wealth. It is money that you earned, paid taxes on, and then surrendered to the secondary market. A common misunderstanding is viewing a high monthly car payment strictly as a utility cost for transportation. In reality, transportation is cheap. It is the financing of rapid depreciation that is expensive. Consistently upgrading to new vehicles introduces a permanent structural drag on your finances. The car dealership is not your wealth management firm, despite the complimentary coffee in the waiting area. Trading in vehicles every few years continuously resets the clock on your highest depreciation phase, draining capital away from your future. Now, this is where it gets interesting. The second rock is high-interest revolving debt. Credit card interest is the structural mechanism of paying a premium for the privilege of spending money you did not possess yesterday. It operates as reverse compounding. While compound interest in an investment account accelerates wealth creation, compound interest on a revolving balance accelerates wealth destruction. Consider a baseline example of a $6,000 balance held at a 24% interest rate. The structural mechanism here requires you to pay approximately $120 every single month just to maintain the right to owe the bank $6,000. It quietly bleeds cash flow, creating a scenario where your present income is continuously hijacked to service past consumption. The behavioral misunderstanding here is assuming that making the minimum monthly payment means the debt is successfully managed. Managing the payment is not managing the mathematics. The mathematics dictate that paying 24% interest to fund a lifestyle you cannot currently afford is a remarkably efficient way to fund the lifestyle of a bank executive you have never met. On the surface, it looks simple, but the third rock represents the cumulative effect of unused subscriptions. While this rock may appear smaller, its density makes it incredibly burdensome over time. The structural mechanism of the subscription model relies entirely on human inertia. Companies understand that once a recurring payment is automated, the psychological friction required to cancel it is often greater than the perceived pain of the small monthly fee. This results in a cash flow illusion. A $12 streaming service, a $20 fitness app, and a $15 premium software account feel mathematically insignificant in isolation. However, the mechanism of wealth building does not look at isolated monthly numbers. It looks at annualized capital allocation. 5 forgotten or underutilized subscriptions totaling $75 a month equates to $900 a year. Over a decade, that is $9,000 of lost investable capital, completely ignoring the potential market returns that capital could have generated. People frequently judge the cost of a subscription by its low monthly price tag rather than its annualized drain on potential investments. It is death by 1,000 paper cuts, disguised as modern convenience. And this is the key. There is a vast psychological gap between the effort you expend in your career and the visible reward in your bank account. You work 50 hours a week, manage complex projects, and earn a substantial salary, yet your net worth barely moves. This disconnect creates a blurring between income and wealth. Earning $120,000 a year feels like wealth. The direct deposits look impressive. However, if a massive percentage of that income immediately flows outward to service vehicular depreciation, high-interest debt, and accumulated recurring fees, it is merely high-volume cash flow. You are operating as a pass-through entity, funneling money from your employer directly to various corporate creditors. It feels like you are making progress because you are participating in the mechanics of adulthood. You are paying bills on time and driving a reliable vehicle. The mathematics of wealth, however, are entirely indifferent to your feelings, your intentions, or your hard work. The math only measures the net margin left over to compound. We often trade long-term stability for short-term visibility. The human brain struggles to accurately price the long-term drag of these purchases against the short-term satisfaction they provide. Zooming out, this connects directly to the broader financial principle of margin creation. Wealth is not built by generating massive income alone. It is built by creating a deliberate, protected gap between what you earn and what you consume. That gap is your margin. It is the only material you have available to build a bridge to financial independence. By eliminating structural drag, you are utilizing time leverage. When your income is tied up in depreciating assets and debt interest, you are constantly trading your future time to pay for your past consumption. You are working next month to pay for a car you bought 3 years ago. When you remove that friction, the polarity reverses. You stop paying for the past and begin buying future time with present capital. To sum this up, developing structural awareness requires shifting your gaze away from heavily marketed financial metrics. The immediate signal to watch for is the illusion of the affordable monthly payment. When evaluating any transaction, you must look past the monthly obligation and calculate the total capitalization cost. Gross income is a vanity metric. A household earning $90,000 with a 20% savings margin is structurally wealthier and mathematically safer than a household earning $180,000 with a 2% savings margin. Recognizing these illusions protects your capital. It allows you to view certain transactions not as upgrades to your lifestyle, but as direct threats to your financial stability. You begin to easily identify purchases that keep you poor simply by calculating how much future labor they require you to pledge. If you found this breakdown helpful and want to continue learning how the financial system really works, please hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and leave a comment below with a financial topic you want us to cover next. Thanks for listening to Wealth Explainers, and we'll see you in the next episode.